I'm Connor Dickie, I'm a bio-entrepreneur. This is me. This is my Xbox Live character. I don't really play Xbox Live too much anymore, but I made this custom for myself, so please enjoy it. But I'm a kind of guy that I'm really interested in learning and stuff like that, and I got kicked out of Queen's University 2 times, but at the same time, I also got accepted into MIT Media Lab, which is in the School of Architecture, so I guess you guys are architects, so maybe I'm an architect too, I don't know. But what I'm here to talk about is DNA, which is basically the software of life. DNA is a molecule that Mother Nature uses to encode information that we use to pass down from generation to generation. It's actually like software, the same kind of stuff that you have on your computer or your web browser or whatever. I'm sure you guys are used to software. It's 2013. And we have here a wolf and a little dog, and what's interesting is humans for thousands of years have been using selective breeding to manipulate the type of information that's passed from generation to generation in an animal. And so we've been able to do some amazing things, like as you see, these two dogs are super different, but really they come from the same place. And that's just through selective breeding. But we have other techniques as well. So this is like the 1970s. These are two guys in a biochemistry lab at like some big pharma corporation. They make couple $100,000 a year. They're in a multi-million-dollar lab. And they make really important drugs and medicine and whatnot, which is great. But the problem is it costs billions and billions of dollars for them to do this. They've got all these regulatory issues. It takes 10 years, whatnot. But we have this new technology now, a whole bunch of technologies called synthetic biology, and it starts with DNA sequencing. This is basically a tool that you can use to take a biological sample and then read in the DNA sequence of that biological object, like me or an apple or an avocado or something like that, and what you're left with is a DNA sequence. It's like basically a text file on your iPad, okay? You're in the bathroom, poop is coming out, and you're looking at the software of life, okay? This is like... if you believe in God, it's God's technology or Mother Nature's technology or whatever. But you're on your iPad, doing this, and you can cut and paste, drag and drop, share, email, backup, whatever. But what's really a kicker now is this idea of DNA synthesis. And what that is this technology that allows you to take that DNA text file that your grandmother emailed to you last night, put it into a machine, and that machine is like a 3D printer, and it actually prints out a real DNA molecule, which is absolutely mind-blowing. It costs a few $1,000s. And then when you get that real DNA molecule, you can reintroduce it into a biological chassis, or like yeast or algae or something like that. But what's really cool is that you're basically reprogramming this yeast cell. And what's cool about yeast or algae or whatever is that they are basically self-replicating bio-nanorobots, which is a cool term that I like to talk about. It freaks people out. So here's like cell division. But basically, after 30 generations, you have... you start with one cell, and then 30 generations later, you've got 1 billion cells. So basically what you're doing is you're growing a factory, because you've reprogrammed these cells to do some useful function. And the functions are crazy. The next function is one of my favorites. It's probably one of your favorites too, if I'm guessing what. Yes. Okay, we've got beer. So we use basically like yeast makes beer, right? Like you put yeast in some water with some sugar, and you let it sit around for a while, and it eats the sugar in that water, and it pisses out alcohol. Like you're drinking yeast piss right now. FYI. But that's fine. It's whatever. It's sterile. But what you can do is you can actually modify the yeast. You can reintroduce new DNA so that you can have a new function. And this is actually how insulin is made today. We used to have insulin. We used to pull like serum out of cows and pigs and horses and inject that into our children and whatnot. And now we have this cool new technology that basically gives us vegan, locally sourced insulin. But this is totally turning, biotech on its head today. I forgot to mention my slides are terrible. I don't have much time, so I just threw this together. But it's turning this kind of stuff on its head. Like these guys are dinosaurs. They're gone. The kind of stuff that we're starting to see now are people like me with no money and no prospects. This is a team from Calgary who they like, obviously whatever the Gangnam thing or whatever, but they're what's called an iGEM team. They're a bunch of students that are doing this kind of biological development. So instead of writing software for computers on their computer, they're writing biological software on their computer for living organisms, which is pretty cool when you think about what's going on. And if you're interested, we have this thing here in Toronto called DIYbio.to, which is kind of like hacklab.to. It's a hacker space where people are doing cool stuff, but with bio instead of cyberspace. Bio's the new cyber, by the way. You can quote me on that. Please do. But yeah, go check it out if you want to. But people there are doing really cool stuff. One of the cool things that's coming out of the iGEM DIY scene is this thing. It's basically a biosensor. Like you guys have heard of probiotics in your expensive yogurt. Well, this is a new type of probiotic. You drink your yogurt, and then when you do a dirt, it has different colors that tells you if you have some kind of a problem, medical problem going on. And this is like a self-diagnostic tool. So this is another crazy idea that I had. This is just crazy stuff. So this is Steve Ballmer. He's a sweaty dude. He probably reeks, right? But he's got billions of dollars, so that's fine. But the thing is, the way the reason people stink is not because you stink. It's the bacteria that lives on your body eats your sweat and then basically poops or pees out a stinky thing. And so the idea is that you could actually take this Streptococcus epidermis that lives on our body, and you could re-engineer it for two functions. Function one, that it no longer smells, and this is actually something that's already been done before by the various iGEM teams, but you could also engineer a second function, and that second function is increased fitness, so that the new strain is exceptionally stronger than what we have. And what would happen is you would basically, I guess, totally disrupt the deodorant industry in the same way that Napster disrupted the MP3 and movie industry by basically getting rid of BO and having that spread across the world for free at no cost. And yeah, I'm doing some stuff. I'm working with a group of really cool people that are building a web-based platform to allow this emerging scene of biological developers to collaborate globally, work together, create projects, sell projects, disrupt a whole bunch of industries and whatnot. And that company's name is called Symbiota, and we're growing knowledge. And we're based out of Toronto. And if you want to check us out, please do. I mean, I told you the name. You can Google it. I'm not going to tell you the website address because that's the Easter egg. You have to figure that out yourself. But it's pretty simple to figure out. It's 2013. So that's what I got to do tonight, so thanks.